So, that delightful and well-known bastion of the truth, The Guardian, has labelled me far right after I appealed for patriots to support our farmers last Tuesday. The report, written by a nameless individual, and no wonder after all who would want to put their name to a deliberate lie, informed their half a dozen readers that far-right groups plan to hijack farmers' protest in London against tax changes. And they went on to say Paul Thorpe, a far-right YouTuber, published a video message urging his followers to join the protest, stating, "I'll be there to support our farming community, and I hope as many of you patriots will be there too." What a wicked individual. Now look, when I first got into talking about politics, these childish labels did somewhat bother me. If I'm honest, I didn't want to be called a fascist or far-right because that really isn't me. In fact, as most of you all know, I treat all extremists with the same level of contempt, and that includes those that work and write for The Guardian, pretending to be journalists, some of them, no doubt, fresh out of university, still regularly squeezing spots and probably being tucked up in bed at night by their mums. Oh yes, that will be the extent of these weirdos' life's experiences in many cases. So my challenge to the absolute moron that wrote this highly defamatory and actually quite dangerous statement is simple. Show me anything that I've ever said, ever done, or ever written that could genuinely be considered or perceived as being truly far right. And understand what far right really means, because to dilute it in the way in which you do is actually quite vile. I wonder if you labelled me far right because I've condemned illegal migration and have spoken out about the dangers that it brings to this country. Is it that I'm strongly in favour of protecting our women and children, particularly our children, from predators? Is that what turns you off? Is it that I'm in favour of retaining British culture, values and traditions? Or is it because I've always preached peace and harmony? Or maybe it's because that I've always condemned prescribed terrorist organisations, groups like Hamas, and that I have both Jewish and Muslim friends. Does that concern you? Is it because that I reject ethno-nationalism and wish to bring all of our communities together as one? Or is it because that I've said on countless occasions that we should always remain peaceful, respect the law and treat each other equally? Or is it simply just because I'm proud to be British? Now, I suspect the truth is that this now meaningless label is the price that I will have to pay for appearing alongside Tommy on stage and supporting many of his views. Guilt by association is good enough for The Guardian, right? Well, this particular hack kind of missed the trick. They didn't do their research about me very well at all, did they? Because if they want to label me because of the people that I've met, sat with, socialised with and interviewed and worked with over the years, and they could have done a more interesting job, because I've sat and spoken with Michael Jackson, but that doesn't make me a singer or a dancer. I've met and interviewed hundreds of Premiership footballers, but that doesn't qualify me to be able to take a free kick or manage England. I hung out with a lot of professional boxers back in the day. Most of them were non-white, by the way, but that doesn't make me a world champion fighter either. Just like having a job where you can write your own personal political bias doesn't make you a journalist. Now let me tell you that writing this sort of guff without any real context or indeed any right or reply puts people's lives and personal safety at risk. But unlike those of us on the centre right, and that's where I sit, you at the ultra hard left couldn't care less about lives, personal safety, reputations or families. Your agenda is far more sinister. Let's face it, the destruction of family life and values, the destruction of British society, the destruction of law and order and the death of the United Kingdom as we know it, that's what you're all about. You write your lies because actually you stand for everything that I stand against. And if that makes me far right, you know what? I'll wear your silly badge with pride, and the people themselves can decide who's right and who's wrong. Oh, by the way, before I go, I did get a message from someone who no doubt holds similar views to you guys at The Guardian. Who knows, he might even be a reader. After voicing my concerns recently over the incident in Southport, one viewer believes that I should be in jail alongside Tommy. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these are the sort of human beings that we're dealing with. Their hatred of the truth is more important to them than the safety of our children. Well, just well.